Group, if you would join us on the stage, please, everyone that came to Dallas.
Come on up, guys.
Give it up for how the field works together, and when everyone voted on who was going to be a part of this group, I think it just shows how well everyone knew, this group and how they would represent them. Because I can tell you, I've been a part of a lot of different focus groups, and very rarely do you not have discourse and disagreements and all that. And this group came together and really worked and gelled as a team, and because of that, we had some incredible things happen. So I think what we want to do is start off and kind of play an audio that will be a synopsis for what happened over these 2 days in Dallas. So if you guys got that ready.
Before they start the video, can y'all give it up for them, because it
Being part of the rebranding of our network marketing organization was one of the most humbling and important moments of my career. I went to Texas filled with a combination of excitement and trepidation. The stakes were huge. Having made a decision to abandon corporate America personally for the opportunity to impact ordinary lives in extraordinary ways, I knew that getting the brand right would have huge implications on tens of thousands of people across the country and ultimately around the world. Having been involved both directly and indirectly in similar branding exercises, I understood that our task was tall. Many companies invest substantial sums of both time and money to brand effectively, and the success percentages still aren't very high. We didn't have the luxury of time or a hefty budget. More importantly, it had to be right. There was no margin for error. As our team went through the process, I was reminded of why I fell in love with our company in the first place. Despite a wide range of backgrounds, personalities, and personal goals, our culture demands collaboration, respect, and togetherness. And boy, did we have it. The synergies of our team were apparent from the beginning. There were no egos, no personal agendas. Simply, we were one team working together for each other for the greater good. As we gathered momentum toward our new name, our new brand, our new identity, it was incredible to watch. Everyone worked together and built toward the right answer, the perfect solution. It would be difficult at best to get the 25 plus people in that room to agree on anything. Different backgrounds lead to different points of view and a variety of opinions. As much as any other factor, I knew we had the perfect brand when we unanimously agreed. Our new brand is perfect. It represents who we are. We are a group of people who together will change the world. We will impact lives, and we will help make our world better during uncertain times. Stream was a beautiful representation of who we were and what we stood for. It will continue to be part of us always. But in the future, we are about bonds. We are about connections that provide synergies to lift us all up. We are one who together will not be stopped.
To come up and kind of share their points of view of what happened over those 2 days. So give it up for these leaders.
How's everybody doing? Yes. So what we're going to do today is we want to try to capture the mood before that meeting, at the beginning of it, and as it progressed. It was really incredible to watch. But before we do, just want to talk for a second about where we ended up. I know this sounds cliche and we all talk about it, but leaving that room in Dallas, I've never been more excited about who we are and the direction that we're going, because we got to see firsthand what can happen when a group of talented people band together as one and unite. It was awesome, wasn't it, Stephen?
It was, I mean, even listening to that was you on that audio, right? I didn't realize you got a great voice. It's kind of like a Darren Hardy feel. No, just thinking about that, I mean, I get chills every time I remember the processes we went through because it was magical. The stuff, there's no other way to explain it. And I heard Steve was trying to put together some words there, but you had to be there to feel it. We scheduled, I believe, 2 full days to go through it, and just in a matter of a few hours, just to show you guys how it was meant to be. In a matter of a few hours, we were all on the same page, 25 plus individual personalities. I mean, can you imagine, y'all know who you are, you know how different we can be when it comes to those kind of things, but there's also that one similarity that we all share, and we found it. We found it, guys. So it was a special moment.
Yeah, Stephen, talk to them a little bit about what you were feeling when you got the call and they said, hey, we're going to Dallas, and oh, by the way, we're going to create a brand new brand name in a day and a half. What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't know where we were going to start. It was, they gave us a little piece of paper and they said, here's some ideas. I was the one in the room that said, I need to sleep on this, I need a week, give me some more time. But they helped us get started. And once we came together and we started putting together ideas, I mean, we probably had 15 to 20 ideas on the table when that first session started. And that was the scary moment. But like we said, there was some ideas that started to rise to the top.
What really got me, outside of the fact that we were trying to tackle a very difficult task, was when we got in that room, this was important for you guys to understand, is it became very clear that this was a field-driven initiative. We were the ones that were given the responsibility of figuring out where do we go as a team moving forward, what do we want to be about, how do we want to communicate ourselves to the outside world. This was not a rubber stamp where corporate had an agenda and we were just there to make the field feel good. This was something where we had the responsibility to say, hey, we together are going to decide the future direction of where we're going to go with this thing. That was powerful to me, Stephen.
Oh, that's right, and we appreciated that. And I think once we realized that, we came together quickly. And matter of fact, I can remember when we started to narrow down, Brian, and come together. And when that happened, there wasn't any arguments happening in the room. It went from us feeling like, man, we were going to have to be battling each other to come up with ideas and things, but that just didn't happen. So, I mean, I want y'all to understand how powerful this moment was, but I will give it up for corporate, and it was awesome when to hear that Rob was behind that and wanting us to come in. I mean, doesn't that make you feel good that that's what they wanted?
It was so powerful when you saw the attitude in that room. It was not about me, it was about we. And it was just unanimous, a group of people that put any personal agendas to the side and together, banded together and worked on something and built it up together. And it was truly an example of synergies, how things can come together and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, because nobody could have come up with this by themselves, but together we came up with something that's so perfect, that represents us so well, that's going to take us into the future. Guys, we are positioned, we have the right answer.
Yes, this was staged. But that's actually kind of how it happened. We had breakout groups. And as a result of the breakout groups, Stefan and Brian said, we had, I don't know, 50 names, threw them up on a board. Talked about them, had some voting, had some narrowing, and then we kind of came down towards 3 concepts. And frankly, none of them stood out to me at first. There were a couple that I thought were more likely that could work, but I frankly went into the meetings thinking that we were going to have 1 of 3 results. One was going to be everybody was just going to say, let's go back to Ignite. The second was going to be some variation on stream. And the third was that we were going to have some name that somebody thought of, and actually there were going to be about 6 of them, and we were going to endlessly argue about it, such that everybody at the end of the day just decided, okay, we're tired, let's go back to Ignite. You know, how do we get the name Stream? Some of you have heard this before. We had 8 guys in a room over 3 weeks, all had day jobs. We argued for 3 weeks, and at the end of 3 weeks, we decided that the only way we could come up with the name was to all vote for the name that we hated the least. And that was Straight.
Wow.
And look what happened. This process was totally different. We got down to 3 names. But then the magic started to happen. 2 of your leaders, Labiba Thomas and Bernadette Wright, started jumping up and down. And they were excited because they had been play acting. They had been play acting with one of the concepts. And y'all know how they are. They can't help themselves, right? And they went up to the front of the room and they started play acting what you could do with the name. And what we were insistent about in this was that the brand reflected who we thought that we were, but more than that, what we wanted to be. And they're going through this play act. Shut up. They're going through this play act, and these are 2 women who I'm extremely close to, who I love to death, and their enthusiasm was not only contagious, but it was contagious for the room. And everybody, you could start to see light bulbs going off. But I had a bigger problem. I didn't want to be viewed as leading the witness, as we would say in legal circles. But they had tapped into a vein that I was extremely familiar with. Because about 6 weeks coming back into my public life was straight, I had to give a talk. And it was a talk to a totally different group. Maybe about 5 people here in the room were there. And I didn't know I was going to give this talk. I'm that unschooled in ceremonial type of things. So I had 24 hours to think about what I was going to talk about. And you've heard me talk over the years how I don't really differentiate between my personal life and my business life. I have a blood family, but then I have a family. So, when I gave this talk, which was pretty crucial to my blood family. I talked about you guys. I never made any mention of you guys. But I was talking about you guys. So what I did, and again, I was thinking, oh shit, if I show this to the room, it closes the deal. But then I thought, maybe this is a God thing. So I got up to the room and I said, look guys, I'm reluctant to do this, but I need to show you something from October of last year.
One of the things I've come to learn in the last few years is that one of our most innate desires, what's so important to us as people, is the sense of connection. It isn't really wealth or fame. Love is important, longing is important, but none of that happens without the prerequisite of connection. It's about the people that you are connected with. So much of life is about connection. Connection is the building block of life. Without connection, we have no purpose. We have no meaning. I'm very proud of both of you, who you are as people, but I'm prouder of the way that you have connected with people. This may be about as connected as you ever find yourself in your lives. And that's about as good as life gets.
I was there in the room when we chose that name. I grew with that name. I grew as a person. I learned from you guys. And nobody loves that name more than me. Despite all the crap that you guys have bought with Stream on it, no one is more invested in that name than me. And ladies and gentlemen, as a result of 3 weekends ago, nobody is gladder to see it go. Stream, I love you. Goodbye.
In the future, we are about bonds. We are about connections that provide synergies to lift us all up. We are one who together will not be stopped. We are Kynect.